Lisa Rinna had the cojones to tell the camera that she's never experienced such horrible behavior from another human being, aka Kathy, in her life, that she was in fear of her life, that Kathy was abusive, and as a result, she had to lock herself in her room in Aspen so she can, get away from that abusive spirit. Mama shows up and Lisa Rinna has behaved in such an appalling way that she may or may not be speaking the truth, but we have seen some rank and foul and ugly and evil behavior coming out of Lisa. So her comparison to what she does on a typical day and Kathy's meltdown, we're like, girl, bye. And I mean, bye. Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today I will be discussing The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the finale edition. We start off at Garcelle's home. She's having a Birkin and Bubbles party. She invited the usual suspects. She borrowed Kathy's butler, Patrick, and she has invited Christos, who has a whole lot of Birkins for sale, and he came through and he brought some beautiful bags with him. Now, the price of a Birkin may or may not start around $10,000. Sometimes they're used, and sometimes you have to get on a waiting list for a Birkin depending on the style, the color, and what kind of material it's made out of. And I'm happy for the ladies who could pull the trigger on one. It's a blessing, good for them. I'm sure it feels like butter and it smells, and the box it comes out of, the revealing of it. You want to lick it when it shows up. Yeah. You can take note that Garcelle clearly manifested this thing. She said she always wanted one. She had a birthday cake that was made like a Birkin, and now she gets to buy it. So, I mean, we all can do the same thing. The usual suspects comes through. Septim was holding a beautiful green one, and Carl made a beeline for it. And they almost had a cat fight, but they squashed it and all was well with the world. Carl said that it was awkward seeing Lisa again. Evidently, Lisa was over at her house when Kathy came over to apologize to her, Carl, and Kathy also apologized to Rinna. I know that Rinna didn't accept her apology because she went on and on and on and on about the treatment she believes she received. Meanwhile, it seems like Kathy had a vexation of spirit towards her sister, Carl. Carl wants to squash it. She doesn't even want to know what Kathy said because she thinks that moving on will make her life easier and better. And she's thinking about her daughter's wedding coming up and restoring and holding on to her family, because she and Kathy were once in vexation of spirit that they didn't speak to for a number of years. I think it was 10, and that's a long time for siblings to have aught against each other. No one can try you like members of your family, so sometimes the healthiest and safest way is to step back and really love them from afar. This is like a dog with a bone for Rinna. She is apt in destroying people and getting them off the show. And Kathy is now her target. You could see that when they were in Aspen and she refused to to try any of Kathy's liquor. So, but this is who Carl associated herself with. This is who Carl, who typically will stir stuff up with Sutton, with Crystal. Same Carl who saw nothing regarding how Jenkins spoke to Sutton or how Erica spoke to Sutton. This is the same one who was in defense of their behavior. So Carl, upset that Rinna won't let this go. This is what they do. She's disdained to type. Now that it's happening to Carl, she is experiencing the venom that other people have been receiving, and now it's different. Now she's teary. Now she wants people to let it go. Well, that's your girls. Go to them and tell them let it go and see what happens. Stands to reason, right? These are your girls. These are your road dogs. These are your friends. So when Carl tells Garcelle that, oh, Rinna was over to her house when Kathy apologized, as well as Kathy apologized to her. So it's strange that Rinna is still talking about Kathy. Carl talked about Rinna saying that Kathy behaves unseemingly, that she needs help. She implied that there may be some mental issues going on with Kathy. And Carl wasn't saying a whole lot because the more Rinna keeps talking about it, the more uncomfortable she feels. So they're all now sitting down. Everyone has a drink. They looked at the bags and they're chit-chatting. And this is when Garcelle asks Rinna how she feels about this Kathy situation. And this is when Rinna tells the whole room that she was in so much fear for her life that she locked herself in her bedroom. So Carl said she really didn't want to continue talking about the situation with her sister. She got up and went into the kitchen, and Rinna followed her and said that, oh, I pray that Kathy will have a come to Jesus moment. These are my words, not hers. And that she prays that she finds some sort of insight why she behaved like that, and to use that to become a better person going forward. Has Rinna ever used any insight after her uprisings to get to a better place? In fact, I think she's deteriorating rather than, finding a healthier place for herself. I could be wrong. Erica and Rinna are going to the event, and Rinna says that she's so shook because she's never seen anyone behave like that in her life. And Erica, who is well acquainted with the fundamentals of a lie, she looks out the car window. Because all around that, you can smell funk. She's never seen anyone behave so inappropriately. Girl, get a mirror. Does she have a mirror in her house? One thing Carl told everyone is that when they come to the event, some store is providing diamonds for them to wear at this fundraiser. So the ladies came through. I mean, the only ones who did not borrow the diamonds were Jenkins and Garcelle. I think Sutton tried on a ring, but everyone else had some borrowed jewels on. Carl tells Crystal that Kathy is not coming through, and that there was a leak of the information as it related to Kathy's behavior in Aspen. Crystal asked her, well, what was the point? What was the motive behind that? And this is when Carl said, you don't get to decide when an apology is acceptable or when someone's apology gets to be forgiven. But again, Carl forgets her behavior as it related to Sutton. At one point, when Jenkins told Sutton that she was the C word, Carl didn't come to her defense at all. In fact, she said it was good that Jenkins could speak her truth. So, now that the heat is turned back on her, she has an opinion about forgiveness and who gets to accept an apology and who does not. So they're having dinner, and Garcelle is sitting next to Carl, and they're talking about the situation with Kathy. And Garcelle tells Carl that her friends need to let it go, and if they don't, that is an indication that they have an agenda, and perhaps talking and highlighting Kathy's behavior in Aspen is a ploy for them to change the conversation from Erica and talk about Kathy. Garcelle opens the conversation by asking Rinna why she needed an apology from Kathy. Rinna responded that no, she did not need an apology from Kathy. Then Garcelle said that, both of them need to let it go. And Rinna came back, who you mean both of you? I mean, and then Garcelle said, well, both you and Eric. The whole thing about Kathy is a distraction because they're no longer talking about Erica's behavior, and she thinks that they're really trying to run the okey doke. Erica said that, people have been talking ish about her for a while now, and now it's basically Kathy's turn. Carl said she doesn't want her family to be ruined. She wants, it's not only just a relationship with her sister, she wants to, a whole lot of people will be impacted by it, and she just wants peace, so she would rather let stuff go, and she really is asking her friends to do that. Carl gets up and leaves the area because she's upset. Dorit follows her. We next see them sitting in a room and they're discussing, and Carl is asking Dorit. The story being leaked came from their circle because Kathy conducted an investigation and they found out was leaking the story to the bloggers. And of course Dorit acted stunned, but she probably knew what was going on because they were recruiting her hard in Aspen, and I am thinking that they all knew what was happening. In fact, the story that no one else knows what Kathy said, I think is bogus because Lisa Rinna doesn't have a cover. She's not a true friend. She doesn't hold water for anyone. So Carl lets both Erica and Rinna know that she is aware that they found out who the leaker was, and the leaker is Erica's publicist. She said that at Erica's event where she was selling the hair, someone was leaking word by word what was going on at the event, indicating that her publicist did this. All of a sudden, Rinna starts to spin. She said, oh, you hear stuff and people give you calls, and Carl said, well, she doesn't have a publicist and neither had she received any calls. And both Erica and Rinna were asking Carl's questions rapid fire, one after the other, and they just sounded guilty the way they were going after Carl. The series ended, of course, they're making statements about what's happening in everyone's life, and Erica and Rinna in the car leaving the event saying that they knew that they would turn the story on them. More to come. The reunion is next week. Kathy seems to be standing strong in what she's saying, and we'll see what ish unfolds. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for clicking that notification button so you know when I upload new content. And have a good one. Bye bye.